Into the Light has brought some new lore along with it. Lore that plays right into the final shape and the plans of the Witness. Today we'll dive through these lore tabs, dialogue, and activities and explain the backstory of what's going on here. The goal of the Witness, the creation of new reissued banned weapons to defend ourselves, and much more.
As the final shape approaches, and the forces of the Witness surge at the borders of the city, Lord Shaxx has been authorized by the Vanguard to place an arsenal of banned weapons from his personal collection back into circulation. So if the enemies of humanity want war, let's give them war.
In the Hall of Champions, the Guardian ventures to meet Lord Shaxx. Forces of the Witness have begun to invade the city and he needs our help. And so my favorite Guardian arrives, Shaxx intones. Our borders are burning once again thanks to the Witness. Nothing changes, including our need for you. He seems to stare in your eyes, his helmet expressionless, his broken horn silently spiteful. This, he gestures to the armory around you, is my personal vault. It's been refit to serve as the Hall of Champions and your base of operations against the encroaching forces of the Witness. Crow awaits us beyond the shell of the Traveler. We've yet to hear from him, but if he lives, we must be ready to follow him through, and the Witness lies just beyond. In the meantime, you'll push our enemies out of our borders and prepare for full-scale war. Shaxx points to the holographic weapon plinths lining the chamber. I remember how to entice the Guardian's psyche. I've prepared customized firearms and blades for my personal collection, once banned by the Vanguard, now reissued by necessity. Yours, if you earn them, in live fire training against the forces of the Witness. We'll engage in anti-siege warfare against our enemies, in a multi-step regimen to have you master classical weaponry as you defeat our foes, and will make you an even better Guardian than you are. He looks you up and down. The Witness is doomed. A Guardian's greatest advantage is their light, but a top-notch arsenal certainly helps. And to face the Witness, you'll need the best, Shaxx says, gesturing broadly to the hall. I've assembled the Brave Arsenal together with Ada 1. Many of the weapons here have been discontinued for being too dangerous, he says, shaking his head. We've revived a dozen of them for your edification, because annihilation is coming for us, and Vanguard's safeguards won't save us, but you might. In the bazaar of the tower, you find Ikora reviewing a holographic map of the last city's defenses, featuring highlighted icons at the sites of your recent victories. She minimizes the map and addresses you. Thank you for working with Shaxx to break the Witness's siege. Every inch of ground we gain now will be invaluable to our civilians once we're through the portal. Make no mistake, these attacks may look like unchecked aggression, but the Witness's forces have a strategic goal. They're hoping a pressure campaign will keep our light bearers pinned in the last city and out of the portal. Ikora's eyes narrow, and for a moment her impatience shines through. They're playing for time we can't afford to lose. Keep working to stabilize our defenses. The more you accomplish before Mara and Osiris reopen the portal, the more of our forces will be available for a counterattack. Her tone grows flintly with determination. And then we'll finally show the Witness the power of humanity's resolve.
What is a Guardian? Are we gods? We are connected to the weft and weave of the universe. No one knows how long we live. We stand alongside those without our gifts. We know, intimately, their lifespans, their mortality, despite their resilience. Mortals live more intensely than any Guardian I've known. Love harder, perhaps. They know tomorrow is never guaranteed. That everything they could become dies with them. So, Are we protectors? Our gifts were meant to defend against impossible threats. Those who need us have never needed us more. But we could do nothing, and they would still die. What is a Guardian in that moment? Now, across Last City territory, the forces of the Witness surge. Our borders are under siege. Does that make us soldiers? Pushing back buys us only time, but the alternative is unthinkable. We built a city none of us dared to dream of, with allies from unlikely places. We have never had more to lose. I turn the question to you, on the eve of our darkest hour. What is a Guardian? Define us, in this moment, for all time.
Enemies of the city have invaded the Hive and Fallen, forces of darkness. The Hive makes sense, they've always been under the Witness's wing, but the Fallen are interesting. I'm not sure if these Fallen were under Aramis, or if they're just random Elixni who've decided to side with the Witness and its cause, but these are the factions that currently attack the city. It might have made a little more sense if the Shadow Legion were here as well, after the events of Lightfall, but regardless, these are our enemies no matter what, Witness or not. Guardians now defend the Last City, Vostok Observatory, and the Cosmodrome from these creatures hellbent on stopping our progress to enter the portal. The Witness is throwing everything at us, pyramids, tormentors, its champions. At the center of this pushback effort in Onslaught is the ADU. The ADU is central to Guardian success in pushing back our foes. If the ADU falls, so does the mission and the enemies overrun. If the Guardians maintain the health of the ADU, it'll allow us to deploy defenses, trip mines around the area, decoys, and even turrets to assist us in our journey. Beginning waves might feel like a breeze, but after a while some of those defenses will be needed in later rounds to keep enemies like Tormentors under control. As we fight through and defend these arenas, we'll be teleported into the Pyramid Ship. Here we take the attack to the Witness's forces. Instead of playing defense all the time, we play offense, take out champions of the Witness, and get some epic loot in the process. Now in reality, we know Bungie had to throw this content together, so there's some obvious questions, but this is the overview. Season of the Wish, Crow entering the portal, and maybe some cutscene was supposed to lead directly into the final shape. This Into the Light content drop wasn't even supposed to exist, but it makes sense on some levels. In moments like these though, and Lightfall and even Witch Queen when the Traveler disappeared from the city for a short time, personally this would be more impactful story-wise to see how this affects the city. Back then the Traveler completely disappeared in Witch Queen. In lore or a cutscene we can learn about what the heck happened. What did the civilians feel about this? Is there power in the city? Is everybody running around like chickens with their heads cut off? In Into the Light, is there any fear that aliens now rush through the streets, or are people just living their normal lives? As pyramids break through the clouds and halt overhead, the Witness is gone for now, but this is still pretty huge, right? The last time something like this happened on a grand scale was the Red Legion.
This enemy has taken our home, taken our light, and now they threaten our very existence.
Shaxx, along with weapon foundries like Weist and 801, have constructed the Brave Arsenal to help us fight. Foundries make your weapons, he explains. Scouts provide you with reconnaissance objectives. Armorers make your clothing. And old buzzards like me train you in the use of your light. In the new Blast Furnace lore tab, we learn more about these weapons and their creation or reissuing thanks to 801. And I'll personally produce a limited number of previously unreleased designs. An alternate version of Blast Furnace, for example, 801 explained. First you strong-arm us into altering our specs, the Vice rep scoffed. And now you come begging for the very models the Vanguard rejected? They would have turned the Crucible into a graveyard, Shaxx interjected. I don't regret I think what Lord Shaxx means to say, Ada-1 interrupted, shooting the Titan a razor-sharp glance, is that your prototypes were ahead of the market. Their time to shine is now. Can the soft sell? Replied the Omelan rep. The numbers are right, so we're in. But what's the catch? The vice rep asked suspiciously. No catch, Ada-1 steepled her fingers. In a year's time, we'll all be dead. The rep shifted uncomfortably. Or we'll have defeated the witness, she continued. In either case, it's time to diversify our offerings with newly released designs and more. The vice rep arched her eyebrow. What do you have in mind? Ada's tone warmed slightly. Just an idea. There's an old Cosmodrome program whose revival I think could be quite useful. Throughout the lore of these weapons and dialogue found in the various quests and weapons, other characters are present. Empress Keitel and Saladin speak about leadership in the face of adversity and training iron war beasts. In Elsie's rifle, she and Shaxx speak about strategic points in the city and how to maintain safety, Elsie explaining which parts fell in those alternate futures. And in Forbearance, Mara discusses the implications of light and dark merging. She says it's like the Awoken. She says, and like our people, she concluded, its form will arise from memories of the forgotten, those who witnessed the end and returned as a beginning. So there you have it, Guardians, the story of Into the Light and what's going on with this city invasion. Some of these lore and Grimoire cards have some more fun moments, like mentioning Randall the Vandal and how Amanda's memorial is now at her workspace in the tower. Fun little Easter eggs and references, but I tried to piece together the overall story of what's going on here to get us ready for the final shape. Forces of the Witness stalling the Guardians before we enter the portal. If you'd like to see some more Destiny, lore, and mysteries just like this video, please be sure to subscribe to the channel. I thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next video.